This week we're taking this for a spin, the 2023 Honda Hornet CB750. Right then folks, first thing we need to do is plot a little ride. So obviously I'm a Cali Moto fan. We're just going to do a little round robin here. So from where I am, let's whack that in. I want a nice big day. Let's go max. I want to head to the southeast. Right, okay, let me just adjust because I want reasonable A roads mostly. I find if you chuck it on no motorway, then it generally is going to be looking for A roads and your faster sort of B roads. So let me have a look, see what that is like. Yeah, quite like that. I think I'll take away number 1. So let's remove that. Okay. A little bit of a hole here, look. There's a big hulking hole there. Let me drag 2 across. Okay, how's that looking? I think that. Make sure we're on no motorway, no motorway, no motorway. That'll do me. 131 miles, 3 hours. With Cali, Cali doesn't take into account any sort of traffic, nothing like that. So although it says 3 hours, I think it's going to be more like 3.5, 4 hours. That will do me. Bosh. Let's go and let's hit the road. This is my first ride of this bike. I've actually had it for just over a week, but the weather has been cake, and I've been editing that rapid advanced bike training vid, that series, like a madman, so I just haven't had a chance to get out. Listen to this engine. That sounds fruity. I'll tell you what, I think this is crazy. Everyone's calling this a small cc bike. 750 cc's. I mean, since when is that small cc? But I suppose in today's age, Euro 5, Euro 6 compliant engines and stuff, they're having to hike up. Oh, actually, that is very, very quick sort of cornering, as in handling. I know it's only a roundabout, but you can feel, literally, you know, you just need to think about where you're going to go, and the front of the bike's tipping in. It's nice, I like that. Yeah, in this stage of sort of Euro 5, Euro 6, ever more stringent emissions and all this sort of stuff, regulations, basically how the manufacturers are getting around it is they're increasing the cc of the engines, so you're still getting an increase in performance, but obviously they can play with things and make the emission, to make everything fall within the emissions, which is where we're now at. When you have like 1290s, 1250cc engines, or even 1.8s, 2 litres in some bikes. But anyway, back to this. The 2023 Honda Hornet CB750. It's sat at motorway speeds. It is perfectly happy sitting there. This has the meter visor. This is a sports pack that's on this one. So it has this thing, they call it a meter visor. It's basically like a bikini fairing at the front there. It's a big 5-inch TFT screen, this. And the layout is typical Honda for these days. You know, it looks to me very similar to the one that was on the Africa Twin I had a few years ago. Same sort of layout. You can adjust all this. You can have different type of layouts depending on your personal preference. So feel free to have a little play. There is plenty of oomph in this bike. I am loving this engine. Sounds mint. Whoa! I had a feeling she was going to do that. I kind of held back, but I didn't hold back enough, considering I've just done that rapid blooming training series. I should have read that better. However, she is still a muppet. Blimey! This feels like it wants to lift the front. Wow! It is a lovely, energetic, sprightly engine, this. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm in 5th gear here, coming onto motorway speeds. Twist the throttle, there's still a little bit more, in fact, there's quite a bit more there than you expect. It accelerates quite deceptively there. Right, I'm not going to do loads of motorway in this. This is just one little stint, just to see what she's like being a naked Again, just to give you an idea if you're not used to this channel, I'm 6'3", 20 stone, but I'll tell you what, how am I feeling sat on this? I can hear quite a bit of wind noise around this lid, but then this is a peaked lid, so it does tend to be a little bit noisy on motorways when you haven't got a big screen. I'm not feeling that much wind resistance across the top of my shoulders. There is a little bit, but you know, I think as long as you're not a shrinking violet on the bike, you'll be fine. Pegs to me feel fine. I mean, it's not as relaxed as your typical adventure bike style, you know, something that I'm used to, the Tractor, best bike in the world. But it's certainly not sports bike orientated with your heels up round your ears. So far, it feels great. Let's get off onto the A roads. Listen to that engine. Quick shifter, beautiful. Now even the quick shifter is fully adjustable on this bike. You can get in the dash and alter the sensitivity of the quick shifter and blipper. Yeah, there's a blipper too. Now I'm sounding quite surprised because this bike is a bargain. A smidgen under 7 grand you can get the standard one of these. Now standard won't come with quick shifter, doesn't have that bikini fairing on it. This one's got a trick exhaust, this one's got a seat cowl, all that sort of stuff. But you will get the same basic bike. 190 brake horsepower, 90 brake horsepower, 75 I think it is, 76 Newton meters of torque on this 750cc parallel twin engine. 7 grand. That in today's market is phenomenal. That's cheaper than the Triumph Trident, it's cheaper than the KTM. It will undoubtedly be cheaper than this new GSX 8, I think it's called, the Suzuki, which is due out next year. And on paper, it's got more power than all of them. So, 7 grand? Wow, Honda, you knocked that out the park. That 7 grand is not reflected in the quality, the build quality of the bike, I think. So far, anyway. The user interface here on the left, again, very similar across the Honda models these days. If you've ridden any of the Hondas, you'll be used to all this. It's directional buttons, there's the function buttons, mode buttons, everything like that. It is all there. Where am I going here? Second exit, straight ahead. Cool. Beautiful. That feels lovely. A little bit jerky on the quick shifter there. Second to third, coming off the roundabout. But bearing in mind I usually ride the GS, that is as smooth as butter for me. Right, I've done quite a bit of sort of built up area coming through towns and villages there. How does the bike handle? It has a little bit of a snatchy throttle at the slower speeds, but then this is set on quite high engine braking. I've had a little bit of a play with it, that does make a difference for sure. So if you're finding the throttle snatchy, make sure you have a little play with the engine braking, reduce it, increase it, see which one works best with you. You can moderate the snatchiness obviously just as you get used to the throttle, but it is an engine that wants to go. You know, it is definitely much happier under drive, making a little bit of progress. We had just moved into I'm in Kent, they don't do nationals anymore, everywhere's blooming bedwetter 50s. We will find some more open roads where we can stretch our legs a little bit and see what we think. No comfort issues yet, at all, none at all. And it handles beautifully. You know, that town riding where you're commuting, you're filtering, you're going around lots of roundabouts. This thing is sharp as a knife. It's one of these bikes where, you know, I'm sat on it and it's a nice seating position, but it handles as if you're thrown over the front. Not sure how they've done that. It's maybe because it's quite a steep rake on the front wheel there. But you just need to think about turning, you know, look where you want to go, any sort of body movement, and the bike, woof, it's going in. Nice, quick, sharp acting bike, love it. Brakes, probably this would be my only criticism so far. The brakes, they're not bad by any shout. These are dual caliper Nissan brakes, you know, same sort of ones that you get on the Gixxer, or used to get on the Gixxers and things. They are absolutely fine, they will stop you, but there does feel just a little bit of a sponginess if you're braking hard. I mean, the type of rider who's probably going to get one of these bikes is either new to riding, they're looking for a commuter, or they just want a fun bike to have. So, you know, at that £7 price bracket, you're not going to complain about these brakes. They're absolutely fine, but that's about the only thing I can think of at the moment that would reflect that £7 price bracket. Does that make sense? This is a lot of bike for the money. Right, it's on to some B road twisties. Finally get on nationals and you get people in front who dawdle. Well, this is quite a bumpy back road here, so let's have a little chat about the suspension. How's that feeling? Well, nothing so far has raised its head with me. Appreciate I've not pushed the bike in any shape or form as yet. We're only now just starting to pick the pace up. And these are some backcountry twisties, so as you can see there are plenty of potholes, so this should chuck up a few issues if there are any. Suspension itself, the front are Showa big piston upside down forks. The rear is I think it's a dual monoshock at the rear. So far it feels fine. Again, you know, my expectations weren't huge because this is a £7 bike, and in this day and age that's a budget bike now. The Honda CBF, is it CBF, the 300, the sort of off-roady little bike, that's £5.5 grand, £6 grand now, but that's a 300cc. It really does not look, feel or ride like a budget machine. Thank you very much. Really impressed with this so far. I was gonna say, if you were, you know, a new rider looking for your first big bike, then this should definitely be on your radar. But never mind that, just if you're looking for a bike, a reasonable big bike, this is not a slouch in any shape or form. Quite happily doing motorway speeds all day, and there's plenty left in the tank there. Loads of gravel here. You can even get an A2 restriction kit for this, so it'll be A2 license compliant. And then once you've done that, you've passed your test and you've got the big license, you can whip that off and you've got a proper weapon for the road. I should have gone. I used to be indecisive, now I'm not sure. Oh, welcome to the southeast. That is why I hate riding in the southeast. Bloody traffic everywhere. And if it's not traffic, it's solid whites and 40 and 50 mile an hour speed limits. There is quite a bit of gravel down here, that's why I'm not trying to power it out this junction. There we go. You wait, it comes up. Are you going? You are committed. Lovely. Oh, that definitely wants to lift the front. Second gear pin in it. It's a pokey engine. This thing is a lot of fun, I'm telling you. Obviously I can't show everything in these videos, but believe me, this bike will put a smile on your face. That engine, oh God, I love parallel twins, or just twins. I love engines with a character to them. That said, this has been spruced up a little bit. This has the SC Project exhaust on the back. That's 900 quid, and 900 quid extra to add to it. This bike in itself, it's in the sports bike package, but this bike as it is, I think is around about 8.5 grand with the sports pack, which puts it up to I think 7.6. And then this exhaust whacks it up there to 8.5 roughly. Thank you. But still, 8.5 grand for a bike that looks, handles and rides and sounds like this. Happy days. Oh, this is a 40. Oh, there they are! Nationals! I found one! I found a national! Oh, we're already at the nationals. Just like that. Now, my phone is running out of juice. That's the thing with Kalimoto, it is quite battery hungry. I only had about half battery when I left, proper planning and all that. Now, I cannot find a USB port. I'm sure it must have one, but I can't find a USB port on this bike. So I'm going to have to stop somewhere and connect up my battery pack. Right. You know what I said about a USB? It does have one. I thought it would do. Most bikes have got them these days. However, for some reason, in their infinite wisdom, Honda have put it here. So this one's got the seat cowl, Obviously it's under your pillion seat, wherever that's going to be. And it is actually quite a good sized boot, believe it or not, for a bike. There's plenty of room in there. As far as modern bikes go, there's plenty of room in there to get, you know, your double bloody decker or your McDonald's cheeseburger. You could get it in there. You couldn't get the drink in, but you could get the burger in. Now, this thing here, if you pull that little cap off, there, right there, can we see? That is the waterproof USB. So you're gonna need a ridiculously long cable to run it up to there, which I don't have. I'll just have to use a battery pack. The idea of this, obviously, is you plug your phone in, store your phone under the pillion seat here, and then you use the Apple CarPlay integration, or Google, whatever the Google variation is, the Android variation, and then you use the onboard sat-nav navigation that you'll then get via the TFT screen. Now, obviously, I use Kalimoto and Ultimate add-ons, so I'm not going to use them. I have used them in the past with the Africa Twin and stuff. It's a great system, it works really well. Get that back on. So for me, I'm just going to have to trust the old battery pack to charge my phone. So I'll get that done. Let's get back on the road. Sync them up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're back on the road. Got my battery pack in my pocket. Running straight to the phone there in the Ultimate add-ons case. Head to Ultimate Add-ons, I think it's .com. Use TeapotOne with the number 10, TeapotOne 10, and you'll get 10% off. And anyone who complains about me plugging sponsors, do one. Oh, there's some right people, interesting people on YouTube comments. What is not to like about this as a road bike? Brilliant bit of kit. Okay, that's one thing I've picked up so far. Once you pick the speed up to national speeds and you start pushing on, when you get into some bumps, like this road here that I've just gone down, it's got quite a lot of bumps in it. I don't know why I'm doing that. You know what bumps are. And you start moving into, so start raising the technicality of the road up a little bit. You know, you start cornering a little bit tighter, a little bit higher speeds. I've noticed then the suspension starts to do this quite a bit. I mean, I am 125 odd kilograms, so you know I'm going to be working the suspension. But again, probably the market that this bike is aimed at, absolutely fine. I feel quite cheeky even mentioning that as an issue, to be perfectly honest, but it is there. Oh, it's nice to have people nodding at me again. Now I'm not on the GS, everyone wants to nod. Now I've set the engine braking to minimum, and it's really smoothed this out. It really is a nice handling bike, this. Very, very easy to ride. No massive surprises to it at all. Corners well, reacts well under braking. Obviously, if you're pushing into a corner hard and you're braking heavy, then okay, yeah, you are going to see a little bit of sponginess through the brakes, through the forks. But again, for the vast majority of us out there, it's going to be no concern for us. That's something I've noticed with this bike. I often feel like I'm riding quicker than I actually am, and I don't know if it's the engine noise, the engine note, because it sort of growls away at you. You feel like you're maybe knocking on a wee bit more than you actually are. But there's been a few times, like in these 40s and stuff, I've looked down and I'm actually only doing 34 or 35, and if you know this channel, it's very rare I'm actually under where I should be. But again, I've not had that need to push the throttle all the time. It's weird. It reminds me, you're going to think I'm insane here, but it reminds me like Harleys do. Harleys don't make me want to twist the throttle and like go breakneck speed everywhere. I just love riding along, listening to that engine respond to the throttle, but I don't need to be wringing its neck all the time. In a way, this is a little bit like that for me, in that, okay, yeah, it's fun to crack on and do some higher speeds and stuff, but I'm perfectly happy sitting at, you know, 40s and 50s and just listening to that engine. Having said that, come on, let's get us into the Nationals now. I've had enough. Nationals! Yeehaw! Do I not like that? Oh yes. Load of potholes there. Cripps Corner. That was just a tour of the gangland headquarters, isn't it? In that Rapid video we were over in Compton, wasn't it? And now we're in Cripps Corner. Loving this bike. Great fun. This thing's really quite dynamic, you know. Again, I don't know if it's that beautiful growling engine that adds to it. It's a really engaging ride, this. I love the sculpted look of it. It almost looks KTM-ish. You know, quite angular. Really sort of slab-sided fuel tank. You know, big wedges cut in for you to grip it with your legs. It's lovely. You can really get hold of this bike and steer it with your body through your hips. How you should, really. I'm really taken with it. I think this is an incredible machine for the money. It really is. What do I not like about this bike? There's genuinely nothing that jumps out at me. Yes, the suspension could be plusher, the brakes could be a little bit better, but you know, that's going to push the price up. And in all honesty with you, that's just not the market that this is aimed for, I think. I think this is aimed for, as I said, new riders or those who are just after a bargain. Well, this genuinely is a fantastic machine. As always, don't take my word for it, folks. Get your leg over and try it out for yourself. Big thanks to Honda UK for getting behind the channel and offering the bike for a review. Thank you very much for that. Hoping to get a few more of the Honda range out this year. Maybe some Triumphs as well if I can. Take them away on some of my tours that are coming up in 2023. Load of people asking when's the 2024 dates coming out, because all these tours are fully booked now. I'll aim to get them live on the Chicken Strips website around about the end of October, early November. You need to be quick, folks. I'm in a very fortuitous position where these tours sell out very quick, in a matter of days if not hours, depending on the tour. So keep your eye on the socials, make sure you're subscribed, and of course, if you're a member of the clan over at patreon.com/TeapotOne, then you will get first dibs at everything and anything. Looking forward to seeing some of you over at the Isle of Man when we go and do the next clan meet. Can't wait for that. And loads more coming up this year. So if you'd like to help support the channel, please check that out, patreon.com/TeapotOne. Right folks, keep doing your thing. Keep getting on out there whenever you can. Look after those you love, but most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha! I bet you I've forgotten something on this. What did I forget to mention? Come on, do your worst in the comments. Let me know. I mentioned seat height. I got seat height in. God, my dog's been left inside all day. Should be cross-eyed by the time I get home.